Right now, following a sex crimes investigation at Sun Prairie West High School, what a child advocacy expert says school staff should have done that may have stopped the suspect sooner.
Plus, the man accused of poisoning women he previously dated is back in court. How he pleaded to his charges in Rock County today. And later, the Badger football team begins training camp at UW-Platteville. What head coach Luke Fickell had to say about day one of practice. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke. And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin with continued fallout from the Sun Prairie West High School after a former staff member was arrested for child sex crimes that included students. Some of the incidents allegedly date back some 2 years.
Yesterday at a school board meeting, parents demanded answers about how something like this could go on for so long without anything being reported. For the latest on this ongoing story, let's go out to Jalen Banks, who is live in Sun Prairie. Jalen.
Sarah and Eric, yesterday a parent at the school board meeting Monday night said that the handling of this incident was a systematic failure. Now this afternoon I had the chance to speak with a child advocacy expert on the handling of this incident by the Sun Prairie School District. At Monday's school board meeting with the Sun Prairie School District, one parent said, quote, "They're mandated reporters and we shouldn't have to push them to do their ethical jobs." Now this afternoon I had the chance to speak with Jennifer Ginsburg, the executive director of Safe Harbor, a local children's advocacy group. She told me anyone who works with children in their profession must report any suspicion of child abuse or misconduct. Now this may include doctors, coaches, counselors, daycare workers, and all school personnel.
By law, a report has to be made to law enforcement or human services. Reporting within your internal policies is not enough.
I also spoke with Greg, a Sun Prairie School District parent whose middle school-aged daughter will one day attend Sun Prairie West High School. He says he has questions about why and how this went on.
What happened? Why was it allowed to go on for so long and nothing was done about it? So I don't know how that's going to go in the future, but if I can avoid sending her here, I absolutely will.
The criminal complaint alleged the district's HR department previously investigated a tip regarding Yoki Maisagayer's relationship with an underage child, but did not report the tip to Dane County Human Services or the Sun Prairie Police Department. The district eventually closed that internal investigation, marking it as unsubstantiated.
If there's a suspicion, that needs to be reported. They don't have to investigate, they don't have to prove it, but by law, if they learn of an allegation of abuse, they need to report that to authorities. And the authorities are law enforcement or human services in the county where they are. So in this case, Dane County.
Now, this afternoon, I reached out to members of the school board via email and on the phone. I've yet to receive a response, but we'll continue to follow this story as we gather more information. But for now, reporting live from Sun Prairie West High School, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Okay, thank you so much, Jalen. And now to an update on a deadly shooting that happened on Madison's north side last week. The suspect in the case is now being charged with first-degree intentional homicide. Joshua Dean is accused of shooting Lee Scott III on Schlimgen Avenue last Tuesday, just after 4 in the morning. Scott later died at the hospital. Dean is also charged with possession of a firearm by a felon. Madison police say the shooting was likely targeted as well. A forensic autopsy was completed on Saturday, but the cause and manner of Scott's death are still pending. Additional testing is underway.
Temperatures finally cooling off a bit, but now rain is on the way. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington and our first warn forecast. Alex.
Yes, showers and thunderstorms will eventually moving into southern Wisconsin, but not till we get closer to daybreak as we go into Wednesday. Widespread showers and storms across all of the area, especially as we go into the late morning into the early afternoon hours, continuing into that all-important concerts on the square time here. Look along U.S. Highway 151 at 7 o'clock. Still showers and a couple of isolated thunderstorms, and not really wrapping up till we get to the later evening hours on Thursday. Next part of our weather story is the rain and then the smoky conditions, where you see the reds here. Madison over to Jefferson, down to Janesville, down to Monroe, even over to Lone Rock. We're seeing that wildfire smoke building into the atmosphere, and this is what we get in our first warn weather cam, courtesy of Upland Hill Sky Cam. Look at that milky white sky. I'll step out of the way here so you can see it. That's what that wildfire smoke looks like in the atmosphere Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track how much rain you can expect on Wednesday, its impacts on concerts on the square, and when you can expect the wildfire smoke to end. That's coming up when you see me in a couple minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. Paul Van Dyne, the man accused of poisoning women in Rock and Dane counties and sparking several hazmat investigations back in June, returned to court today.
Our Ellie LaLiberte brings us the latest on the investigation into Van Dyne and his alleged co-conspirator from the courtroom.
Paul Van Dyne pleaded not guilty in Rock County Court today. Van Dyne is facing 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, aggravated battery, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and stalking resulting in bodily harm. He's facing even more charges in Dane County. According to court records, Van Dyne and his girlfriend, Andrea Whitaker, allegedly stalked and tried multiple times to kill women Van Dyne had previously been on dates with, breaking into their cars and putting cyanide and thallium in water bottles and hydrogen sulfide and abrin in air vents. A Rock County court official set Van Dyne's bond at $37.5 million earlier this month. Today, Van Dyne appeared virtually from the Dane County jail and requested a different judge.
A request for substitution of judge filed today, and but that is on file, so you're aware of that. Have you seen the information?
Yes, Judge. We reviewed it with Mr. Van Dyne, and we would waive formal reading of it and ask the court to enter not guilty pleas on his behalf.
The last time Van Dyne was in court in Rock County, Amanda Bade, the alleged Rock County victim, spoke to the court. She says due to Van Dyne and Whitaker's poison plot, she spent 38 days in the hospital, partially paralyzed and losing her hair. Both Van Dyne and Whitaker are expected back in court in Dane County on August 5th. Reporting outside the Rock County Courthouse, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. We now know the identity of the person who died after a collision with a dump truck. 42-year-old Jake Strampy of Laval died at the scene of the crash. It happened Monday on State Highway 33 in Sauk County. Witnesses reported an SUV hit a dump truck and both were on fire. When deputies got there, they found Strampy still inside the SUV. First responders took the driver out of the dump truck to Reedsburg Area Medical Center. The condition of that individual has not been released. One person dead after a 3-vehicle crash on State Highway 19. That happened overnight in the town of Medina near Marshall. Our photographer captured video showing a med-flight helicopter on the scene. The EMS treated the 56-year-old driver of a Ford Fusion who has since been released. 2 other drivers have serious injuries. A passenger and a Nissan Altima died at the scene. The highway was closed in both directions for 6 hours.
A bizarre scene at a Madison church yesterday afternoon where police arrested a woman for causing a disturbance. It happened at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church on Raymond Road during a musical event. Police say the woman allegedly got undressed in front of nearly 100 people who were attending the event. The woman then hurled repeated insults and threats toward police while being taken into custody. She now faces several charges. Well, football season is so close it makes you want to jump around. We're just 30 days from Wisconsin's season opening game against Miami of Ohio. But they're already in action, sort of. They kicked off fall camp today in Platteville. And coming up in sports, our Andrew Banstra has a full report from day 1 of camp. And also coming up on News 3 Now at 6, why a bridge connecting Iowa to Wisconsin will soon be coming down and the impact it could have on commuters.
Plus, News 3 Now expanding its reach and improving our signal when the changes are scheduled to happen. That's just ahead.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
A crucial route for many crossing from Wisconsin into Iowa will soon be closed. And without this route, a trip that once took 10 minutes could stretch to an hour and a half. This fall, the Iowa DOT says it needs to demolish the Black Hawk Bridge that connects Lansing, Iowa to Wisconsin. This for safety reasons. A replacement bridge is planned but won't be ready until 2027. Local residents and businesses are worried about how this will impact their daily lives.
Oh, I'm here at least 3-4 times a week. I mean, I get my hair done here, I get my car repaired here, I go to the grocery store, they cut up steaks for me that I like over there.
It's definitely going to have a huge effect on us. I'm most worried for the people that are open 12 months out of the year. We're seasonal here, so we have summer business. I anticipate probably about a 40 to 50% decrease in business.
Now, the Iowa DOT says it may provide a water taxi to transport people across the river while the bridge is closed, but it would not carry cars.
Work is now underway to upgrade News 3 Now's over-the-air signal to bring you our local news, weather, sports, and programming. On Monday, crews began their work to install a new UHF antenna on the Madison Community Tower. This is located south of Mineral Point Road on the far west side here. And next week, another new antenna will be placed on a tower in rural Rock County. In short, this new equipment will help to better get your signal, our signal rather, into your home.
So a lot of the people with their antennas that they can't put an antenna on the roof. For an example, if you're in an apartment building, you have these little flat panel antennas. Those will pick us up a lot better with the UHF signals that are going through.
Very exciting news for a lot of our viewers. Now, if you're wondering if you need to rescan, just wait. The new, more powerful signals are set to go live sometime early next month, so you'll want to rescan at that time. And of course, we will update everyone with more information when that happens. Still ahead, a Madison man hitting the open road to see what the United States has to offer. How UW Health played a big part in helping him achieve his dreams.
Plus, a new era of care for Alzheimer's, the new ways to diagnose it and to treat the disease.
And we have rain on the way for tomorrow, as well as cooler temperatures. Alex breaks it down in the full forecast when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, there is progress to report in the battle against Alzheimer's, and while there is still no cure, new treatments are presenting some new options. One is called Leqembi. It is one of 2 drugs given through an IV that was approved within the last 3 years to treat the disease. It removes plaque in the brain called amyloid, a protein associated with Alzheimer's. In patients with the early stages, studies showed the drug slowed mental decline by about 30% after about 18 months. However, there were some side effects.
Occasionally, there will be some swelling, in some cases to the point maybe of even some bleeding. So we do surveillance MRIs regardless of whether there are symptoms or not.
How does that feel?
Now, the medication costs tens of thousands of dollars, but in the majority of cases, it looks like it will be covered by insurance. It's important to say this is only for those in the early stages and those at higher risk of getting Alzheimer's.
A Madison man is seeing the world again after beating cancer twice with help from UW Health. Paul Lynch Jr. was diagnosed with a rare eye cancer called uveal melanoma back in December of 2021. It's only diagnosed in about 2,000 to 3,000 patients per year in the U.S. And health experts at UW Health treated Lynch, who got his sight back and was able to keep his 20/20 vision. However, 2 years later, it was discovered the cancer had spread to Lynch's liver. Fortunately, using a new therapy known as Hespado, Paul is now cancer-free.
It's amazing the healthcare industry nowadays and what they're capable of doing and the technology that they have to detect terrible cancers like this.
Lynch is now enjoying his summer traveling around the U.S. in this RV. He also recently celebrated his 60th birthday with friends and family and plans to travel to Utah in the coming months. Happy ending. Well, some rainy weather is on the way, putting tomorrow's Concerts on the Square performance at risk. Let's check back in with Alex for the complete forecast.
Yes, I have all the details, all part of the 3 things you need to know. We have poor air quality going into Thursday. Wednesday is looking like a rainy washout. And Thursday, if we can get that PM 2.5, that air quality to improve, a much cooler day and refreshing with the humidity levels dropping. Radar 3000, you'd think with the mugginess we got out there right now, it's high and dry, but that's going to change here as we put future track into motion as we get towards 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Could be a little bit earlier, could be between 4 and 6 o'clock. Looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms breaking out over southwest Wisconsin. Can't rely on an isolated strong storm along the Wisconsin-Illinois border from Monroe over towards Janesville and Elkhorn, but most of these thunderstorms on Wednesday will stay below severe levels. That rain continues to pivot across southern Wisconsin as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Here's that all-important time for Concerts on the Square at 7 o'clock, stretching from Mineral Point up to Madison, up to Juneau and Beaver Dam. A stretch of showers, a couple of embedded thunderstorms, and as we move further into Thursday, those showers maybe not even wrapping up until the early morning hours of Thursday. I said I'd give you a glimpse of how much water we're talking talking here, we're looking at about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch, especially from, let's say the Wisconsin River Valley to I-94 and areas towards the south. But can't rule out where we get a couple of those thunderstorms over and over and over again. We call that training, stretching from Darlington to Monroe to Janesville. If that sets up tomorrow, could have a couple of localized areas getting upwards of an inch or over an inch of water, and considerably less amounts north of Madison up towards Camp Douglas and the Dells, maybe only a 1/4 to a ½ inch of water. Here's that Concerts on the Square forecast. Rain is likely during the day. A call will be made on Wednesday as to whether or not Concerts on the Square will stay put for Wednesday evening or if it's going to be moved to Thursday. And wait to see what's in the forecast as we head towards Thursday. That's the other part of the weather story here, too, is the smoke, rain, and the smoke. You wouldn't think those two would be happening at the same time, but we do have, where you see the reds and the oranges here, we have wildfire smoke across southern Wisconsin as we speak right now. And as we track into Wednesday, notice periods of that green and shades of yellow. That's that smoke moving through the atmosphere. As it's raining, sometimes the rain droplets will pull that smoke down to the ground briefly, but in between rain showers and thunderstorms, that smoke builds back in and sticking around till about noon on Thursday. If you are susceptible to these conditions, so that's unhealthy for some to the unhealthy range, best advice is just to stay indoors and limit your outdoor activities, shut the window and have that AC on, although I know it's pretty tempting when you see a 10-day forecast like this. Highs of only 72 on Wednesday, but rainy, and then mid-70s to upper 70s, right around 80 as we go out into the upcoming weekend, and lows in the 50s. Not lows around 70 or 75, lows in the 50s. That's about a 20-degree difference in those overnight temperatures.
It's easy to ignore that air quality element, but we do need to pay attention to it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. If you're susceptible, just stay indoors until conditions improve.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alex.
Alex, thank you. And coming up in sports, Badger football done with day one of their training camp down at Platteville, and we'll hear from head coach Luke Fickell, his thoughts on practice number 1. Well, football season is even closer than just around the corner. In some ways, it is already here.
It's very true. Wisconsin football kicked off fall camp in Platteville this morning. Our Andrew Banstra was there kicking off our coverage.
It may feel like summer just started, but believe it or not, football season has officially begun for the Wisconsin Badgers. They reported to UW Platteville's campus today, where they kicked off day one of their fall camp. There are a lot of changes this year for the Badgers, but one thing has stayed consistent under Luke Fickell's tenure: this trip down to Platteville, something that he says always helps the team.
Being away is important, whether that's for our players or for our coaches, where you can kind of try to, hone out a lot of the other things. You change your environment a little bit. You got to rely upon each other. In order for us to do this the best way, our guys got to spend time together. Our guys got to understand that it's not just about the X's and O's. It's going to win games and allow us to handle adversity. We've got to continue to take advantage of these time out here and all the things that we do have out here.
There is a certain anxiety that comes with day one of fall camp for Luke Fickell, something that he says is healthy.
What I look forward to is a little adversity, is the anxiety, To be honest, I don't know whether this is year 24, 25, 26, 27, of being a coach, and you still are up at 2:30, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, because there is a anxiety. There is that just that comes along with starting, and maybe even a little bit more when you got a new quarterback, when you got a guy that you haven't been with in the fire.
The head coach acknowledges that the last 2 years have not been exactly what the doctor ordered, adding they've made the necessary steps to ensure that it won't happen in year 3.
There's a great attitude. Let's just be honest. Nobody likes where we finished and where we are or where we were. And that's what, if they came back for a reason. If they came to our program, they knew what they were signing up for. The ability for us to be consistent, to continue to not just be where we are, but continue to grow, that is going to be the challenge for us. So I feel great about where we are. I love the attitude. I think we've got a collective leadership group that gives us a much better chance to handle and continue to grow through all things that we're going to face.
And we are just getting started down here in Platteville. Today was the first of 15 practices the Badgers will have down here at Ralph E. Davis Stadium before they return back to Madison for their August 28th season opener. For now in Platteville, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
Andrew, thank you. And the Brewers are once again alone atop the NL Central after beating the Cubs last night 8-4. Game 2 of the series is tonight, and you will be able to watch it on television. Wisconsin. Quinn Priester on the hill for the Brewers. The former Brewer, Colin Ray, on the mound for the Cubs. Coverage starts 6:30 on TVW, channel 3.2 over the air. First pitch set for 6:40.
And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10, an emergency mental health response program here in Madison hits a big milestone, and it comes as a similar resource around the country face funding and service reductions. How Madison's CARES program could fill a growing gap in mental health services tonight at 10.
And Alex once again rejoins us. Final check of the first warn forecast.
Yes, we've got smoke and rain in the forecast. Well, let's start off with the smoky conditions. That's going to last through Thursday with poor air quality. Wednesday looking like a complete washout. And as we go into Thursday, I do expect improvement with the temperatures and the humidity levels at least getting on the way down. Concerts on the Square looking like a washout, but all is not lost here. Thursday is a potential rain makeup date, and Thursday is looking absolutely fabulous. Look at that, 75, sunny skies, and we got gorgeous weather carrying us all the way out into early next week. We won't start seeing those warm, humid conditions again until probably mid to late next week. So we got a good stretch of weather ahead. Just got to get through tomorrow.
Beautiful break.
Alex, thank you. And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Coming up next is Entertainment Tonight.
And be sure to watch News 3 Now tonight at 10 o'clock. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. See you back here at 10 o'clock.